You're listening to the Call Kent podcast, where Kent C. Dodds answers questions and gives insights to software engineers like you. Now, let's hear the call.
Hi, Kent. My name is Julian, but people call me Diablo. I was wondering, why did you decide to migrate your tests from Cypress to Playwright? And will you recommend to use Playwright instead of Cypress now?
And that was the call. Here's what Kent had to say.
Hey, Julian, thanks so much for the question. This is a great one. So I still recommend Cypress. I think it's great. Cypress is a great tool, has really good developer experience. Playwright is still playing catch up on that developer experience. But other than that, Playwright has a lot of really great things going for it. And the developer experience is actually better than you might think, because I don't think that they do a super good job of explaining the what it is capable of from a developer experience standpoint. And I know that Debbie's working on that right now. Debbie O'Brien, she's joined the team relatively recently, and she's working on helping people see. And she's the reason, actually, I decided to try Playwright for testing, was because I met her at the conference in Croatia, and she's like, let me show you this. And I was blown away. So yeah, Playwright has actually pretty good tools. They're just kind of not as well delivered or polished as Cypress. So Cypress is still great. And if you're using it today, I wouldn't recommend doing a big migration or anything. I did a migration yesterday as part of the Epic Web Dev live streams because I had like 3 tests and I wanted to see what it would look like, and I'm happy with it. So yeah, I would suggest looking into it for sure. Because I think that it's really a powerful tool, and like it allows you to open multiple browser tabs and interact between them. Iframes work properly. Like so many things work better, I think, with Playwright. But the DX is still like they're still working on that. So yeah, that as far as like why I decided to migrate, I just think. Well, here's one thing. When I was migrating yesterday, I found it way easier to interact with my database from my test. So I can interact directly with the database and like create a new user before trying to test the login of an existing user and stuff like that. And as well as like the onboarding process. I've got MSW for mocking out emails, and that all happens server side. This is a Remix app. So I have MSW running server side in my app, and it will save a file to the file system. And then Playwright will read that file in this special function I have called read email. And so then I can get a link or whatever I need to out of the email that would have been sent if MSW, mock service worker, hadn't been running. And so I can test that bit. So I have a really nice setup for mocking email. So that's just one example of stuff that works really nicely with Playwright. I do feel like it's got a little ways to go with DX, but one thing that they are doing is they're introducing some very testing library or testing library inspired APIs for selectors. So that'll be really cool. They already have a really powerful locator API. I'm not sure how how ergonomic that API is, but it is very powerful. And so I've been talking with the team about adopting some of the strategies from testing library, and they are doing that. So that's already been merged actually. So the next release will include a by role query and a by text query. And I think they kind of combine a couple of the other things. So it's not going to be a exact copy of what testing library is, but it should be very familiar with anybody who's using testing library, which is very encouraging to me. So for Epic Web, I am going with Playwright. I'm really happy with it. I don't feel bad recommending Cypress to people either. I still think Cypress is a good tool. But as far as recommending Playwright or starting with Playwright, if you're starting a new app and you want to have end-to-end testing in it, then I think I would recommend Playwright over Cypress. So long answer to your simple question, but hopefully that gives you the details that you're looking for. Thanks.
This has been the Call Kent podcast. Learn more about Kent at kentcdodds.com and get your own questions answered at kentcdodds.com/calls.